What is up, guys, and welcome to this video about 4 things I'd like to see changed in HLTV Fantasy before the 2024 fall season. I think this is a good time to reflect on the last season and think about some ways that the game could be improved, because I think it's a great game, but there's at least a couple things, at least 4 things that I would like to see changed, and I'm going to give my reasons as to why right now. First off, removing team points. I got this idea from playing fantasy football games like FPL, where they don't award any points for winning or losing games. And the main effect of this is that it makes for a more varied approach. You can pick way more different players from different teams when you're not punished for losing and when the temptation to go for winning players isn't as high. And the reason this is a problem, in my opinion, the team points in HLTV Fantasy, is that it makes you pick the cheapest players from teams like IGLs way more. Because if you expect them to win, you're going to get those team points, and they can oftentimes make or break that player's performance for your team. So I think I've seen even events where there's like 5 or 6 IGLs or super cheap players under the most picked players, like the top 8 most picked players. I think it's just unnecessary. I don't think it needs to be that way. And this would be a very elegant solution, in my opinion. Would make the game more simple in some ways as well, to this problem. And then also one extra point towards this is that some of the roles, like the IGL role, would feel way more meaningful when you're actually getting extra points just for that role. And that's the only way to get extra points from winning games. I think another way of achieving something similar would be maybe adjusting player prices. So cheaper players would be slightly more expensive than they have been in the past, but I think this is just a better solution, more simple, and just better. Makes it far more interesting to pick teams, in my opinion. Second one would be adjusting leaderboard points. These numbers could be something else as well. I've just essentially tried to make it a bit less top heavy. I think the difference between top 1% and top 2% can be like 1 point, and the drop off in points can be 7 points from that. And I think that's just a bit too steep. You're already getting rewarded for the like top 3 places with skins, and I think that's fair. There should be some extra reward for the highest of highs, but I think it should be more consistent. It should reward consistency a bit more, this leaderboard. And these are just some numbers I threw together. Maybe this is good. Maybe it needs to be tweaked a bit more, but I just think it doesn't need to be this top heavy. Next, more boosters and rows and having them rotate. So having more, I've given like 2 examples of new boosters, could be rows as well. One is ADR, maybe 100 ADR booster, getting 100 ADR in a match, or maybe 90 ADR is better, I don't know. Pop off, I'm kind of thinking it could be having one map within a series where you get like 1.5 rating even, something like this. I'd like to see more boosters and more roles, but I don't want every game to have all of them. So you could have a rotating booster and role selection. So maybe one event we don't have the clutch booster, or we don't have the quad kill booster, and instead we have one of those other ones. And in the next one, that's changed again. I think it would make the role and booster game a bit more interesting, because we've seen basically the same boosters and roles for a very long time. Most of them have been seen way too often. I think it would be only a positive thing if we saw this kind of rotating option as well. And last but not least, maybe least, I don't know, opening up the leaderboard. I think it would be fun to have the season leaderboard events include some of the lesser tier events. it doesn't mean have all of the partner games be part of the leaderboard, but I think it would basically just make the whole season game reward the more engaged fantasy players a bit more, those who have more knowledge also of the lower tier CS. And I just think there's really no reason why we shouldn't have at least some of those events on the leaderboard. Having only the highest tier events kind of leads to a situation where we have all of the same teams in all of the big leaderboard events, and you're just gonna get tested on when you pick those correct ones in those ones. And I think it would be just fun, and it would be generate more hype also towards those partner games, because at least for me, the partner games, I just throw together some kind of lineup and I let it sit. If I don't get a crazy start, I don't even bother putting on boosters. And this could be a great opportunity for these events, for these tournaments, to also get some more visibility and get people to actually watch the games a bit more. So I think there's only positive ideas from there as well. Either way, I think those are all of my points that I have right now. I'm sure there's some other ideas that could be had as well. I hope some of the people at HLTV who curate the fantasy games see this and at least consider some of these ideas. And if you have any cool ideas for how to improve HLTV Fantasy, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. So I don't have anything else to say. I will see you when the fantasy season returns again.